All right, so my first question, I saw that you did a gap year at Disney, and as
Yes.
somebody who
Whoa, what's up, like
also
deep stalking?
I like to be prepared. I also did a gap year at Disney,
Ah,
so I have to ask where you worked and what you thought about it all.
it's really weird. Before I'd never been to the parks, and mentally I manifested where I wanted to be, and that's where I ended up. I was in Cosmic Rays in Tomorrowland. I was like, but before I went, I was like looking at all the outfits. I was like, oh, those outfits are so cute. I want to wear that. So I was there. Oh God, who's the alien? Ray. Well, yeah, Mr.
Right,
Ray. And his.
Sunny
Oh
Ray.
my God, yeah. It was many hours, all his songs, and no, such. It was a fun time. Whereabouts were you?
So funny enough, I picked up a shift at Cosmic Rays for a week.
Ah,
But I was at mainly the little carts in like Adventureland, Frontierland, Liberty
ah,
Square.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think I probably picked up a shift at Pinocchio's once, or
Mhm.
like, yeah, no, it was such a fun place.
Yeah.
Uh,
So to go to your work now, because Disney's not everything, but
yes.
your work is mostly stop animation, which is extremely tedious. So I'm just
Mm.
interested in what drew you to that very time-consuming art form.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I'm not a patient person. I'm so impatient. So it's really bizarre that I actually got into this form of animation. I think it's a combination of I hate computers. So anything digital, like I will do it with it, like if I have to, but I think as well because I came from a bit of a fine arts background, like my heart, like it is like in painting and drawing. That's kind of sculpture, all that kind of tangible real world. And I'd always loved film, so it was kind of a way to bridge together, like yeah, creating. Sorry, emails. I'm like, oh, turn that off. Yeah. So I guess and why stop motion? I don't know. I think I saw it and I was like, oh wow, that's like magic. That's amazing. Like people can do that. And there was definitely a whole series of animators I'd seen their work. I think initially, like just maybe I feel like when I went to Disney in my subconscious, it was that was starting to set the seeds. And then I came back and I got really into Monty Python,
Mhm.
and especially the Terry Gilliam's animations. And I was like, oh, they're so silly and funny. I want to do that. And then it was just kind of, yeah, then I went off to university and just got hooked on stop motion. Yes. So that's the crack I choose. No.
No,
Sorry.
there must be something in the water because after Disney, I got really into rotoscoping for like a couple months and I was like, this is the greatest thing that's ever existed.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Oh, just once you're there for a while, yeah, I guess that's what happens.
So Baggage you made as part of the Animation Academy. So kind of talk through that process. I know it's a short academy, so what was
Mm.
that timeline like in making Baggage?
Yeah, it was really crazy. So I arrived in January last year, and before we got there, we'd all like more or less had an idea of our project. I would say mine was nowhere near where it ended up being. Like all I knew was, oh, my story's going to be about female friendship and it's going to be about emotional baggage and they're going in the airport. I hadn't worked out any of the plot points. I had vague ideas what the characters looked like. I'd got designs, but it hadn't progressed too far. So yeah, so those first few months were there like script development, kind of doing mock-up characters. Yeah, just kind of really thinking, oh my God, what do I want this to be? I think initially there were at times I was like, oh, maybe it's just going to be lots of people at the airport. It'll be kind of just a general kind of vignette taste of everyone's baggage. But then I think I really knew that I wanted this to be a very female-centered story, and that was really important to me. So I stuck it out and I was like, okay, how are we going to tell these friends' story? Um, and then, yeah, I mean, I really created the story like I started in the middle. So I knew, okay, they're suitcase bodies. I know I want to start at check-in and end in like at security. They're never like you're never going to see them go on holidays, like, but this is like the kind of before the holiday. And yeah, so I actually, and when so I started animating maybe 3 months in. And because I didn't know where the story was going, I started from the middle. So I actually did all the conveyor belt scenes first. I was like, well, they're gonna go on the conveyor belt. Let's just start there. And then I worked my way to the end, and then and then the last thing I shot was the opening sequence. So very topsy-turvy. But being at Aardman, it really supported my chaotic process. I think I learned so much about how I work. I think I hope, you hope they're lessons you take into the next project, but hopefully that answers something there.
Yeah, no, definitely. And so what are the character you said they're not going on holiday, but I saw on your Instagram that they are traveling around a little bit. What are they made out of?
Yeah, I've got one here. It's a
Oh, do they have
lady.
names too?
No, I never gave them names. Everyone wants to know. I'm like, I could give them names at this point, but no, I don't know. I haven't felt a name for her yet, but I'll take suggestions. But they're actually made of wood.
Oh wow.
So they're just also what it was kind of like a little jigsaw set. I cut out all these little panels and
Mhm.
just glued them all together. And amazingly enough, it worked. Like it's really odd. So like, and they've got like different pieces in them so I could turn her head, her hands just kind of pop on and off. So things would kind of just move around like that. Um, yeah, God, well, I did try to avoid walking as much as possible because her legs, they do move, but not very great. Um, but yeah, she's about, I don't know, I'd say about 25 centimeters
Yeah.
tall. So however big you make your puppets, you've got to make your sets like 5 times bigger to cover it. So it's a challenge, but I was like, I only chose 2 colors, black and white. So I was like, great. Then that made painting the sets pretty chill. I was like, okay, well, let's just start with white.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know she's like my baby now. I love her.
She needs you gotta name her after some sort of like luggage company, but like a cute name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Do they want to sponsor me? Like, do you want to
There
call,
you
I'll call
go.
her Samsonite, like, or whatever other cases. I don't know. Well,
Exactly.
that's
Sammy.
actually Sammy, oh actually, oh my God. Well, and all three of the women, like the kind of suitcase that I chose for them was about as well embodying their personalities. Like, so she is like kind of modeled on the really those hard plastic
Mhm.
Samsonite cases. She's like she she doesn't want to she's a really tough exterior, whereas like the other one was like a bit more designer and kind of alluding that she's got all her baggage is kind of neat and organized. And
Yeah.
then the other friend I was just a bit more like bit crazy, had like all her places that she's been to. But
And speaking of everything that's inside of who I'll call Sammy now, you have little cute little like late bloomer, social battery pack. So what are some of the other pieces of the baggage within the baggage that you wanted to highlight or that were maybe cut in brainstorming?
yeah, I mean, a lot of it was just kind of yeah, a lot of them, I guess, just like my own insecurities, just bringing up like what kind of things, how I feel like I match up against my friends. Maybe I don't feel like I'm at the same stage of my life as them or different things. So it was just honestly, yeah, coming up with as many internal things for myself. A little bit of brainstorming with like friends on the course as well. And I suppose like, yeah, I probably did make a bunch, but like, yeah, and I would choose to put ones in shots that felt that they worked in that moment, especially in the scene where the security guard has finished rummaging through her and she's all exposed
Hmm.
and she's just like completely just emotionally destroyed and all those items like like the ABBA SOS and I think there's one that says you're an idiot and all these ones it's kind of just it's that internal judgment she's just like she's given up she's really yeah so that was fun it was fun and tricky to create those little internal baggages and just like the story like I knew that she needed one item to get her in trouble
Hmm.
and it just took forever to work out it was it's a big long and I think as well I love gags and puns and jokes so I kind of that once I'd settled on the bottle I was like hey okay bottled up emotions that's kind of the joke I went for there. And then yeah, I think as well the I miss my mum
Yeah.
was as well about like kind of and that's something else I think kind of societally we don't talk about grief very openly. And that's something lots of us carry around as grief. We've all lost someone.
Mhm.
And sometimes, whether it's still acceptable to be sad about that, which it is, like you can be sad about that. And, and that's the beauty of having friends who don't, it could be years later that you've lost someone really special to you, but they're still there for you.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. Yeah, the ABBA one really jumped out at me. I was like, man, the amount of times I've cried to an ABBA song is just really fits.
There was lots of ABBA when I was animating this. Yeah.
So what always impresses me about short films is the ability to convey so much in such a short amount of time. So
Mm.
what do you feel like is both the benefit and the hardest part of condensing this story of grief and a female friendship into what, 4 minutes, right?
Yeah, it runs
Yeah.
at like 4 minutes 30 and then another 30 seconds for credit. It's a
Mhm.
really it's a tight
But it
shot.
doesn't
Um
feel quick. It feels like everything gets its time and it never feels. And
yeah.
I'm just always so impressed by short films in that regard.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, it's definitely a challenge, but actually it's like a challenge that I thoroughly love. I love that it almost feels like a reverse puzzle. It's like how can like clarity is so important. I want it to be clear and I want it to yeah, it's good that it just didn't feel rushed to you. Um yeah, I don't know. I think I guess from the get-go because I had a clear vision of what I wanted it to be. I knew, like, even though I didn't know exactly how to make it happen, I don't know, I was trying to hit certain points, and yeah, honestly, sometimes I'm like, how did I do it? I don't know. Lots of brainstorming. I had a lot of good mentors,
Mhm.
and I would like write the story out almost like an essay, like this is my opening argument, and then this is the next kind of and my conclusion, and kind of that was a really fun way to kind of like visualize a story. It was like, oh yeah, I'm just trying to persuade people a little bit, I guess, or um, but yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned before that you came in with this idea of wanting to highlight platonic friendships, which and
Hmm.
like the love that exists there, which I think is still sadly underrepresented in all media. So why
Yeah.
did you personally feel like this was such the strong conviction you had to tell the short story?
Yeah, I think if at first it came from the sense that I felt like sometimes female-driven stories aren't written by women, and that was at first really important for me. I was like, I want to be telling my own story, and it's like it's fine when someone else who isn't female doesn't tell it, but I think there's some strength internally. And I think I got that response definitely when I would try to explain the story to some men, they just kind of didn't get it. And every woman got it. So I think there's that kind of and that's still my target audience. And I'm always impressed and amazed when men enjoy my film. I'm like, that's great. I love that. Um, but oh shit, what was the first part of your question?
No, just what
Oh, the
made
female
you
friendship.
yeah.
Yes. And then I thought about the female friendships in my life. I was like, okay, what? Because then that was like when I was first going like applying to the academy, I was like, okay, what relationship do I care about that I want to explore? And I have a beautiful relationship with my sister, like, so it could have been a sister story. But then I think I just thought about my female friendships. These are the girls I went to high school with, and I just thought I love these guys so much. They mean so much to me. And there was a few like different emotional things that had happened the year previously, and it kind of just felt right. And I was like, so it was kind of like a tribute to them. And yeah, I totally like friendship is such a beautiful story, and there should be more stories about that. Yeah, not romantic love isn't everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. So South by Southwest, will you be attending?
I will be attending. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Exciting.
I can't wait. Yeah, yeah. And it's be my first time in Texas. So
Okay.
yeah.
Everything's bigger in Texas, so
Yeah, no, I don't really know what to expect. I was like, I think probably most of my time I'll just be going to events at the festival. I'll be hanging out at the Australia House, so the other, but obviously seeing my film, promoting my film. I'll be bringing Sammy along.
I can't
A
wait to meet
little,
her.
are you off to Texas?
Yes, yeah, I will be there. So I definitely want to
Okay.
I want to say hi and say
Yes.
hi to Sammy.
Yeah, yeah. We'll meet in person. Oh, fantastic.
Fantastic. So my last question for you is just a bit of a fun one. Are you an over or underpacker?
Ooh, I love that. I think I'm an overpacker who's learnt to become an underpacker. Yeah.
That's good. That's
No.
growth.
Yeah, actually, that's been a nice thing when I've shown people the film. Then they come up to me afterward and they're like, oh, then they're telling me their baggage. They're like, or like different things, or they'd be like, they're like, oh, if I was the character, what would be inside me? So that's been a really nice response.
That's super cool. That's